I'm a 37-year-old woman, and my husband, Mark, who's 46, thinks I'm being unreasonable. He wants me to send money to his stepdaughter, who's 29 years old, but I'm refusing to do so. To understand the situation better, my husband was in a long-term relationship for 18 years before we met in 2017. His ex-partner's daughter, Sarah, was 23 years old when we met. Even now, Sarah still lives with her mom and doesn't contribute anything towards household expenses, not even for her phone bill. Mark and Sarah don't have a typical father-daughter relationship. He met her when she was 8 years old, and she doesn't call him dad or anything like that, but he cares for her deeply. I understand why. However, she can be really spoiled and entitled. We moved to a different state a couple of years ago for my job, and Mark has tried to stay in touch with her, but she never responds to his messages or calls unless it's Christmas or her birthday. Then, she always asks for gifts. I find it really annoying. In the past, Mark always gave Sarah what she wanted, and he would send her money whenever she asked for it. It never bothered me because he was working and earning his own money, and since we both had incomes, we could afford it. Last year, I gave birth to our daughter, who is Mark's only biological child. I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, so we decided that one of us would care for our daughter full-time. Since Mark's job required frequent travel, it made sense for him to quit and become the stay-at-home parent. He's been caring for our daughter for over a year now, whenever Sarah calls asking for gifts on holidays. I've told Mark we can only afford to send a card. We're now a single-income household with a new baby, and my two older sons, 9 and 10 years old, who do call Mark dad. Their biological father is not involved. This is where I'm supposed to be the bad guy. Sarah's mom bought her a brand new car, a Volkswagen Jetta, in 2022. But Sarah recently decided she didn't want that car anymore. Her mom refused to buy her a new one, saying, "You're an adult now. If you don't like the car I got you, you can buy a new one yourself. But I won't be paying for it or the insurance." That sounds fair, right? Sarah finished ultrasound school a few months ago, and I assume people in that field earn a good income. So, she should be able to afford a car and insurance. Apparently, that's not the case. Sarah texted my husband out of the blue today after not responding to his messages for over 6 months. She thanked him for the birthday card she received. Her birthday had just passed and apologized for her silence. Then, she went on and on about how tough her life has been, how hard it is to pay her bills, and how it's all affecting her mental health. She claims she's struggling to cope and doesn't have money for various things. My husband wants to send Sarah money to help her out and suggested adding her car to our insurance policy to reduce her expenses. I completely lost it and told him he was crazy, that we're not doing that, and that she needs to take responsibility for her own life. I didn't handle the situation well, but I was frustrated. She only has 2 bills to pay and can't manage them, so he wants to step in and help. He asked me to at least discuss it with him and see how much it would cost to add her car to our insurance policy, but I was too upset to listen. I flat out told my husband no, and that was the end of the conversation. Honestly, even if I won the lottery tomorrow, I wouldn't give her a single cent. She needs to take responsibility for her own life. I didn't say that to my husband, because it would probably make me sound like the bad guy. But am I the asshole for stopping the gifts, refusing to send her money, and not adding her to our insurance? Story 2. I'm wondering if I was wrong for kicking my wife's cousin out of my house. We were having a big party at our place with friends and family from both sides, and everything was going great. Then, my wife's cousin came up to me and said she wanted to take her kids downstairs to watch TV because they were bored. I said that was okay with me. Here's what happened next. The door that leads from our downstairs living room to my hobby room was wide open. My hobby room is where I keep all my stuff, like my workbench, paints, glues, and a big display case with all the models and figurines I've built and painted over the years. About an hour after my wife's cousin took the kids downstairs, I went to check on them and found the door open and a mess everywhere. The kids were playing with half the things from my display case, which were now all over the floor. I quickly picked up the things from my display case. Luckily, nothing was broken, and calmly told the kids that those weren't toys and they should ask before playing with something. But their mom got upset and snapped at me, saying she had given them permission. I replied that she should be more considerate of my belongings while in my home. That's when she completely lost it and started calling me every insult she could think of. She even said, "You need to watch how you talk to me. I'm her family. You're just another guy," meaning I'm not part of the family, just someone married to her cousin. That's when I told her to gather her kids and leave my house. She started yelling every curse word she could think of and stormed out of the house. Now, according to my wife, she's claiming that I screamed at her kids, which isn't true, and called her a very hurtful word, something I would never do, as those who know me are aware of my strong feelings against using that word. Anyway, it's been over a month since then, and my marriage is still going great. We haven't seen or heard from that cousin since. Story 3. About 8 years ago, I was in a serious relationship with a girl named April, who was 1 year younger than me. We dated for 4 years during high school. Just before I was about to leave for college, something happened that changed everything. April had left her Facebook account logged in on my laptop, and I saw some messages that made my heart sink. They clearly showed that she was cheating on me. After I saw those messages, I completely cut off contact with April. I didn't say a word to her for the rest of that summer, and when I left for college, I just disappeared. No breakup talk, no phone call, no text. Nothing. But she didn't give up easily. She kept calling me almost every day for a whole year after that. It was crazy. And then, towards the end of that year, she showed up at my dorm room holding a sign asking me to go to her prom. Can you believe it? By that time, most of my friends in the dorm knew about April and warned me to stay away from her, so I never actually saw her when she showed up. After that, she still kept calling me, but less often, about once a month during my second year of college. At this point, I honestly didn't care about her anymore and thought about just answering the phone to get her off my back once and for all. But then I learned how to block numbers on my phone, so I just blocked her instead. So I just decided to block her number and move on. Fast forward to a few days ago, and we matched on Hinge, a dating app. I finally told her why I ghosted her all those years ago. But instead of apologizing, she got angry and called me a piece of shit for leading her on, wasting her time, and making her cry every night for a year. But honestly, I don't feel sorry at all. I think I did what I needed to do to take care of myself back then.